Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into this really ancient text that asks a question, a question we're still asking ourselves. What really shapes our lives? And, what comes next?
Believe it or not, this was the exact question, this super urgent question, that a whole group of people from a village called Sālā put to the Buddha, like way back over 2,000 years ago. And these weren't, professional philosophers. They were regular people, Brahmins and householders, who heard about this wise teacher and they wanted real answers. Not some complex theory, but something practical about suffering, about happiness, and about what our actions actually mean.
Okay, so let's get into it. How did this whole framework for living, this really powerful guide, even come about? Well, it all kicked off with one simple, super direct question from a village full of people who just wanted some answers. Yeah, we're talking about regular folks here. They'd heard whispers, rumors about this incredible teacher who could take all the complicated stuff about life and just make it make sense. So they went to him, and their question was straight to the point. Why? What's the reason? What is the cause that makes people's lives turn out so differently?
All right, so this is where it gets really interesting. The Buddha's answer was, it was incredibly direct. And it sets up this foundational idea for everything else we're going to talk about. He didn't point to the stars or gods or some random fate. Nope. He pointed to something much, much closer to home.
He basically said, look, it's not luck, it's not chance, it's your conduct, your actions. That's what shapes your future. He laid it out plain and simple. Unprincipled, immoral conduct, that leads to a place of loss. But principled, moral conduct, that leads to a heavenly realm. It's so direct, right? And honestly, it's incredibly empowering. The message is clear. Your destiny, it's in your hands. But that wasn't enough for the people of Sālā. They were like, okay, but we don't really get the details. They needed the specifics. So the Buddha obliged. He started to break down exactly what this unprincipled conduct really looks like, starting with that negative path. And he didn't just give them some vague philosophical idea. He gave them a list. A concrete list of 10, count 'em, 10 specific kinds of unskillful actions that are guaranteed to lead to bad places. And this isn't just some random list of don'ts. You should think of it more like a really detailed map of all the ways we can cause harm. And the way he organized these 10 actions is it's so elegant and simple. He broke them down into the 3 channels we use to act in the world: what we do with our bodies, what we say with our speech, and what we think in our minds. So let's take a look at each of those. Okay, first up, the body, the physical stuff. So this unprincipled path starts with causing harm, right? Killing, being violent, just having no mercy. Then there's taking what isn't yours, stealing. And finally, sexual misconduct, any kind of behavior that disrespects or harms other people and their relationships. Next, let's talk about speech, because our words have so much power, right? He outlines 4 kinds of harmful speech. First, flat-out lying, especially to get something for yourself. Second is divisive speech, the kind, talking behind people's backs to break them up. Third, just harsh, cruel, nasty words. And the last one is interesting, pointless chatter, just talking nonsense that doesn't help anyone or mean anything. And finally, we get to the real root of it all, the mind. The unprincipled path in our mind has 3 parts. First, there's covetousness. That's that nagging, burning jealousy, always wanting what other people have. Then there's ill will. This is more than just being angry, it's actively wishing bad things would happen to other people. And the third one, this one is maybe the most important, holding a wrong view. This is basically believing that what you do doesn't matter. It's denying that cause and effect is a real thing. Okay, so that's the downer stuff. Let's flip the coin over and look at the other side, the positive, skillful path. Because it's not enough to just stop doing the bad stuff, right? It's about actively, intentionally building up the good. And no surprise here, just like there were 10 ways to mess up, there are 10 ways to get it right. But the great thing is, you don't have to learn a whole new list. The principled path is literally a mirror image of the unprincipled one. It's all about intentionally taking each of those negative actions and turning it into a positive. And again, what's so brilliant about this is the perfect symmetry. The structure is exactly the same as the path to loss. 3 actions for the body, 4 for speech, and 3 for the mind. That's not an accident. It's showing us a super clear, balanced system for, completely transforming how we act.
So, what does this look like for the body? Well, instead of killing, you actively give it up. You choose to be kind and compassionate to all living things. Instead of stealing, you give that up. And instead of sexual misconduct, you give that up too. Choosing to be respectful in your relationships.
And for our speech, we ditch the lies and commit to telling the truth. We stop using words to divide people and instead use them to bring people together, to create harmony. We get rid of the harsh, cruel language and instead use words that are kind, that are gentle. The text says, pleasing to the ear, lovely, going to the heart. And we replace that pointless chatter with speech that actually matters, stuff that's beneficial and timely. And then, in the mind, this is where the real work happens. We cultivate contentment, so we're not constantly eaten up by envy. We replace that ill will with a genuinely kind heart, actually wanting other people to be happy and well. And most importantly, we hold a right view. We have that crystal clear understanding that yes, our actions absolutely matter, that our deeds, both good and bad, create our reality.
So, what's the payoff? What actually happens if you walk this principled path? The text is really clear that the results aren't just some vague, fuzzy feeling. They are real, tangible, and totally life-changing.
The text lays out this kind of ladder of possible results. If you live this way, you could absolutely wish for and maybe even get a really fortunate rebirth surrounded by good people. Or you could even ascend to these amazing heavenly realms. But here's the kicker. It doesn't stop there. It points to something even bigger. And this is the ultimate goal. The text makes it so clear that this whole thing isn't just about getting a good deal in the afterlife. The highest possible reward, the greatest fruit of this path, is to find, and I'm quoting here, the undefiled freedom of heart and freedom by wisdom, right here, in this life. It's about becoming completely, totally free. Right now.
And you know what? After all that, the people of Sālā were satisfied. They got their answer. This teaching completely flips the script on fate, right? It's not something that just happens to you, it's something you create. So it leaves all of us with this incredibly powerful and very personal question to chew on. If our conduct is the only thing we truly own, our real inheritance, what kind of future are we, building for ourselves, one action, one word, one thought at a time?